we are actually gonna record this for the YouTube. For those of you that missed it, I streamed the first game or the first series on my Twitch. We watched S8 Ol versus TTS, Time to Shine. And the biggest takeaway is that teams let objectives get stolen from them too much, and they don't really know how to team fight. That's really what I learned. The other thing is that most teams don't have great adjustments. Like, they don't understand what's going wrong in the game, it looks like. Because, like, we watched 5 objectives get stolen, and there was 0 adjustments made in terms of people who were going to secure. So already some pretty different prio here. Lapras makes sense. It's looked very good. Umbreon is not something we've seen banned a lot. That said, I think it's very good. Just the ability to lock somebody down is very good, and I think that's very useful. In terms of draft, I think I like this one a little bit better. There's a lot of damage there, and also the ability to smite secure if you're looking for that. Not to mention, Inteleon hasn't looked great from what I've seen so far, but I think Hoop is probably the best character in the game. It just cheats so much tempo. On the other side, I've liked what we've seen out of the Leafeon so far. Edelgoss is still a bit of a question mark. Like the Alola Ninetales, like the Slowbro. Not a fan of the Blastoise so far. It hasn't had great showings. It's been getting demolished, but I think that was more of a player issue rather than a champion issue. So we'll be interested to see if there is any sort of change there. That said, they're not actually going to lock it in. Haven't seen Chandelure, so interested to see how this plays out a little bit more. So already differences in terms of how teams start early, which seems to be really weird and really inconsistent in terms of teams. We've seen some leave both up of these. We've seen some go like none here, get rid of both of these, and then leave these 2 up, and then path their jungler's bot side. I expect they're not doing this one because it looks like only one person is topside here. They're trying to help this this Chandelure get an early start. Yeah, because it looks like they're just trying to help their junglers get an early start. It'll be interesting to see if they both decide to cross here, because it looks like that's sort of the way they're going, the early jungle aggression. I don't know. There's a lot of different paths you can take in this game, I feel like, which is really nice in terms of early jungle. I feel like late jungle is really not taken care of properly, so. Zation getting a good lead already. You can see basically it's half a level up and hasn't cleared all of his own camps yet, or at least the camps on his side. That was, yeah, that's questionable, unless there's something I'm missing. So, Rapid Strike Urshifu. We saw Single Strike earlier, very good for securing those objectives. That said, they're getting a lot of early scoring here. They did get that kill onto the Alola Ninetales as well. So already just straight up better laning out of the side of blue here, I think. Like, Sobble getting the early kills and the early score, and in top side, you see the Zation having not a huge lead, but still a pretty okay one. Just doing a bunch of harassment forces the enemy team out there. Not bad. And you can see, again, the immediate value of the Hoopa. Like, so the Snorlax moves from here to here to back here to back here in about the span of, like, what, 10 seconds? And that's entirely because he can just move you around the map so much faster than any other champion in the game. So I think that's just the insane amounts of value you're gonna get. Going for the invade, this is pretty risky. Like once you egress in here, really short rotate time here, and then a pretty short rotate time through this angle as well. Not to mention you only have 2. That said, what the fuck? That said, this champ's fucking looks real fun. You can just see hitting 6 and then it doesn't even hit 6. It just gets a nice knock up into pushback, and then they just escape for free. Yeah, and since you don't even have to take the portal back, there's no risk. Like, it's just such a free escape tool. It's so good. So even XP across the board, except for that bot side where that Inteleon is about ahead, about a level ahead. Probably not that much. Probably about half a level. Because he's been getting that solo XP this entire time. Maintained the lead in top side. Jungle having about 3/4 of a level as well. It's more about, probably about like 5/6 of a level. Or not, like a little bit below 5/6 of a level, I think. Above. I just phrased that horribly. The point is that he's like a little less than half a level above the enemy team. 5/6 is not the right number. And again, you can just, you can put a bunch of aggression topside here, because so what they do, and I really like this, is they invade into here, and they force these guys out, right? They die. Afterwards, they immediately aggress into here, try to clear out as much as possible, and then after that, immediate aggression this direction. Since the objective is going to spawn in about 30 seconds, what they're going to do is they're going to then aggress, try to get some points, and then use the Hoopa between here and here, go down this way. And again, this works very well because they're ahead. If they're behind, it's obviously a lot harder. But like, you can just see the value of being ahead with Hoopa is just so good. Because it allows you to make so many more plays on the map. Because normally if you do intend to, because I'm assuming they're probably going to contest the bot side objective, which is what it looks like. Given that they have 3 down here now, yeah. So look, right? You force down this way, you drag people this direction, right? Because they have to come this direction to stop you from egressing even further, you can then just back off, you go to the turret, and then you have the free out this way. It's just so good. Like, the other thing that you can do is you could also just stay here, because you have the mix-up, right? You can take the 50-50 between, oh, do I want to stay here, or do I want to stay here? It's just really, really good, man. Not to mention, you can see, although they were low, they get the free recall, they go back, and then immediately afterwards, they just go towards the top side. That's not what I wanted to do. Need to switch back to the clicker. So Zacian's just soloing this, and again, because they did get this early and Zacian is ahead 8-7, right? He's just going to attempt to solo this, and if the Leafeon tries to aggress up, they have a quick response in terms of A, he can last long enough to do it himself, and B, they can just TP like that, and then they'll be here. Like, it's really good. And then you can see as soon as the team engages and he sees the Leafeon, right, he knows there's one here, and then a bunch here. He backs off. I'm not sure what the Edelweiss is doing. I think they're just waiting. Are they AFK? What's going on here? This isn't online. This is the bug? Yeah. That's what I thought. Did they reload? We'll see. What the fuck? So was it like? Okay, cool. Let's just put it back. So we just hop back into the game and okay, he's reconnected, but like, yeah, it's over at this point. Like, they've gotten the objective and the team fight's already happened. I would have liked to have seen what the fuck happened here. Did I skip ahead too fast? Yeah, because we see them here. They're attempting to fight. They're still in the neutral. I guess I just skipped this part. They get the neutral objective, and they aggress forward. And they pause here, just as the Snorlax is there. Nobody's died yet. And then suddenly the Snorlax has died. This is a go next angle. I'm not, whatever. Blue side is massively ahead here. They have Hoopa, they can move between the map really easily. Like, even if they do die, they'll have Super Jump to get out of pace. It's totally fine. You can also see up about 2 levels on the carry and ball lane, where like that early death and those early aggressions have been a big issue. That said, I mean, I don't think that was entirely just because of, like, I think that's more of an error on the enemy team. Like, if they ever get that kill, that should just never happen. Also, time to madge a little bit about So did Inteleon just get it? Why does it? No, so it's been dead. And so yeah, time to madge a little bit about just the buff up time. Like, look at how long that stays alive. And again, yeah, it's just really hard for Red to convert onto anything here. So, like, just early wins plus Hoopa make it, I think, just almost impossible. Damn, who would have thought that a champion who can cheat tempo way, way harder than literally any other champion in any other MOBA can is really, really good? Who would have thought? Yeah, so Inteleon looks really good when he's ahead right here. But, like, when he's behind, he just doesn't look like he offers anything of value to the team. I don't like that in terms of, like, an AD carry. Like if your carry doesn't offer you any sort of damage when you're behind, then your carry is useless unless you're literally the better team every time. And, like, I don't... Unless you, like, know for 100% you're the better team, I don't think you want to take that assumption. That's a hell of a choice right there. Like, you can just see he decides to go in and then just, yeah, go into the assassin in the jungle. Like, there's no way that trade is actually worth it. Like, they're making plays elsewhere, which is nice, but you're letting this team back into the game, which is the one thing you don't want to do. Oh, Urshifu's just going to carry. By the way, literally they only get out of here because Hoopa's fucking broken. Like, he's so good. How did you let him through draft? And he wasn't even first pick, was he? Didn't he slip to 3? Unhinged that he slipped to 3. Although I think it's very easy to argue that, like, the early kill from Inteleon ended the game, especially since the Alolan Ninetales is still behind from it. I think the biggest factor here in terms of actually being unable to come back has just been Hoopa. I'm also pretty sure that this team was also one of the finals, so that explains why they're playing a lot better than the other fucking shitters we've seen. Just setting up. It's been interesting that they're setting up towards the top side, given that that wall will show up. Yeah, I'm a bit confused as to why they're setting up so heavy towards this area of the map, right? Because you know that this wall is gonna spawn, so I'm not sure why there's such heavy presence here instead of, like, down there. Such a good play, too. Okay, yeah, you can't convince me that this champion's good, man. Like, Inteleon just does nothing here, and Hoopa's the real carry of this fight. This is a great play, by the way, because they know that there's presence topside, so they opt to just ignore this because it doesn't matter. Rate 334 to 60. And so they let the Zacian back off, and then as he starts to back off, he re-engages. It's so nice to watch. Because you know he's here, and he's just looking for the angle this entire time. That said, he goes in maybe like a little too early, and you can see he just gets burst down. He still does a lot of damage, though. By the way, this Inteleon just looks like he does nothing this entire fight. He's just wailing on the tank. Like, even then, he's not killing it extremely quickly. Like, Hoopa and Snorlax are doing most of the heavy lifting here. I'm sorry to say it. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, he's your ADC and he's hitting the fucking tank. He's chasing after the tank this direction, while the rest of your team is going here. Like, just what the fuck, man? That said, he's going to clean up here. There's no way he doesn't. Well, game's over. Much despite my chagrin at how bad that was played in that last team fight. Like, that was really well played from both sides in terms of that last team fight. I think, like, Red understanding that they just need to try to get a wombo combo. But, again, it's really hard to do that. Also, Hoopa doing all the fucking heavy lifting. Urshifu did a lot there, too, just softening the members up. But you're not going to convince me that the Snorlax or the Inteleon was actually the carry there, unless I'd be willing to hear arguments, but I just don't see it, man. Obviously, forcing the tank out with the CC is good, but it's not that good. Like, there's no reason for him to chase as hard as he does there. And just doing that, I feel like, is such a detraction from the team. Cool, go next. We're moving on to game 2, baby. Before that, what adjustments do they need to make? So first of all, obviously not lose lane early, but other than that, I think you ban Hoopa 100%. Like, that was a big issue. I think you also need to stop a lot of the early aggression, though. That seemed like a really big issue. Although I say don't die in lane early, I think that sort of falls under the aggression that they were allowed to have, which is sort of a consequence of Hoopa. Like, let's be clear, but they were also doing things that were way too aggressive, even without, like, the Hoopa. And so I think you're trying to take advantage of that as much as possible. I think that's something that you really want to target out if you can. Well, first of all, I don't. So this makes sense. I like this. Give over these two is okay. I think you want to take the Urshifu off the board here. I think Urshifu here is a denial pick because the Zacian was good last game. Like, by no means was he bad, but I think that the Urshifu did a lot on the side of on these guys. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce these because I will butcher it. I can barely speak right now as it is. But yeah, I don't like giving over the Urshifu here. I think that you're supposed to take it here or here. I think that I think especially you can take it here. I think that's when you take Urshifu here. So you go Urshifu here, and then Alolan Ninetales. And then here, they're going to go supporter anyways, right? And this will still be up because none of these have been taken off the board. Like, I think what they're worried about here is if this gets taken away, they're kind of boned maybe in the early matchup. But even then, you don't need to take this here. This is a giveaway. You give up counter pick here because you get counter pick in lane, and then you give up your support counter pick, which makes no sense to me. Yeah, this is sus. Because this is support, you're just giving over support counter pick for zero reason. And then you also give over the Urshifu. I don't like it. That said, I'm not too versed in Dodrio or Gudra, so we will see how they play and form opinions from there. Let's also see the early start again. Similar start as the last time. So you've got the supports both helping into the jungle. And then I'd expect to see the Zacian try to aggress early and then go for these two afterwards. Or he's going to kill one because that's what he did last time. And again, we see this time they leave these two up. So I would expect this guy to pass bot side. Not to mention he's starting here and it's just a lot easier to go that way. It's a bit weird that they didn't leave these up. And this guy's apparently pathing bot side unless he does something weird. like the reverse pathing, which is this. I think it's really bad, but whatever. So he's pathing towards bot side. And he's doing the reverse pathing. Again, it's, like I said, I think it's really bad. Like, I don't think you need to get the buff that early. And then you're wasting time because you're ending here or you're ending here. And so you have to run out in the lane, which is a lot further than ending here. Or here, running this distance. It's probably about I'd say it's at least 3 seconds more, which is a good amount of time. Especially early. Because if they're trying to score, that's probably about 2 to 3 seconds. Early skirmish going in the favor of blue. That's good. It means they're not getting destroyed early like they were last time. That said, top side not doing so hot. You can see already being zoned off there. Yeah. Already a good amount of score in terms of lead. It doesn't look like there's any response on bot side. Damn. Like, what the fuck is he doing? So, like, keep in mind, he has an extremely fast movement speed, by the way. Like, he is really, really fast. But, like, he is already late to the lane, right? There's this distance versus that distance. Of course, the mini-maps aren't 100% accurate. That's usually how it works. They're probably about a half a second delayed. But even then, this is just unfucking hinged, man. What the fuck? People don't know how to do any sort of jungle pathing. It's insane. Yeah, now you can see they're just not trying to trade because they know that it's a 2v3. And the Urshifu is coming towards bot side, so they're just trying to delay as much as possible, make sure there's no rescores. Urshifu has looked very good in the games that I've seen him so far. That's... the play here is just, what the fuck, man? So, like, you know you're down. Right, so you know you're up here. You don't opt to recall. You opt to go for the kill instead, but you can't turn anything out of it. And then there's a kill there, and then you continue to fight the 2v4. Because, like, there's, what, 2 topside right now? There at least should be? I can't tell. Yeah, so there's I hate this minimap, by the way. There's 1, 2 topside, and then there's 1, 2, and he's on his way after getting killed. So, like, I don't know why you're even aggressing here. Like, you should be back here. Excuse me. Back here. And then if you need to, you can play off your heals. And then aggress forward when they try to score. Because when you aggress forward like that, you just get fucking obliterated. Horrendous early games. Teams don't understand what they're winning and losing, it looks like. They just want to fight. Your topside should also be aggressing way harder. But I guess they're just not going to. no. No. So, this, nope. Nope. That is bad. Never do that. So, first of all, you both need to know which direction you're going if you're going to retreat around a corner like this. You, first of all, should always be retreating towards your side, right? Even if you have to walk through the enemy, unless the enemy has, like, a lot of CC, right? Unless the enemy is, like, the Alola Ninetales or, like, the Slowbro or, like, something with, like, Surf, you know, it's going to knock you back, in which case it's okay to, like, retreat down this direction. It makes sense. Always retreat to this direction. These guys aren't going to be pushing you that way, so there's no reason to retreat the way that this Sliggoo is retreating. Not to mention, just watch the Blissey run around in a circle. Like, what the fuck? Talk to your teammates, man. I understand that there's no punishment for fighting in this game, but at the same time, it feels like teams haven't realized that you shouldn't always fight. Okay, once you see this guy top lane, the Urshifu just, yeah, he's probably just gonna run. You just send all 4 of these guys down here, and the game is over. Like, it's already really hard, I think, for blue. What is it with Umbreons and just fucking sprinting it, man? People just love to sprint it on this champion. Look at that. You can see them right there. The enemy is 1, 2, 3. So those are, let's make this a little bit clearer. Actually, in hindsight, we're going to use blue dots for red and red dots for blue just to make the colors more contrasting. Because I think it's really hard to see if you have blue dots on blue markers. But that's what the team looks like. So why the fuck is Umbreon back here? Like, and then they just run into everyone. Damn, and then they get immediately killed. Who could have thought? Wild. And so now you've got a 3v3 down here, right? So now you've got a 2v1. So what that just did, right? Why that I keep complaining about these people getting picked first is you had a 2v1 and a 3v4, right? Your splits were favored. You were leaning towards heavily this side, and so you were favoring this. You're trying to get this objective and then push these guys out of this lane. Instead, what you just did is, because you sprinted it, they are now going to go even with you, right? Because it's going to be like this. And this guy is going to get pushed out of this lane really hard, which is what happens. Even though you should never go over a kill here, by the way, because he's aggressing like up to this point. At this point, you just run. But it's fucking unhinged, some of these players, man. Again, I'm willing, if somebody can show me why I'm wrong on any of this, I'm willing to, you know, eat shit. But this just looks awful. Like, this gameplay, comparatively to what I'm seeing in Wild Rift, or any other MOBA for that matter, looks horrendous. Right, and now you're just... This is a bit of a question mark ping from me. I suppose it's because you just spent all your points anyways into this topside goal, so there's not a lot of value. You just kill this to get it off the board, which is fair. And then you're just going to have a 5v5 on bot side. I don't think the Scooter's done shit this game, but whatever. I would love to know why this Inteleon is like, look at that, he's doing not a lot of damage. Also, just free access to the backline right here. Like, I understand the idea here. Well, actually, I don't. I don't fucking understand the idea here. Let me be clear about that. So you have two members, right? 1, 2, who seem to really want to go in, and you have this guy who's playing from the back line, and then this guy who's playing from the back line as well. So let me just make this easier to aggro, backline, backline. Aggro. Actually, I swapped colors. That's a bad idea. We're not going to do that. We'll say aggro. He will let you go aggro, and then these two can sort of fill both, right? At least what it looks like, where they're able to play at a mid range that is close, but not super far away. But just what the fuck is this shit? Like, why are we just having these kind of solo people going on hero missions? I don't get it. Like, there is zero front to back, and it makes no sense to me, because the composition of the team fight should be that you have one member here is the end goal for blue side, and then you're gonna have them pinch from this side, and then you're gonna have them go onto this side, assuming that red is like, well, actually, we'll just use this scenario on the map right here. So the egress here would be, the idea here would be that you have Zacian over here and Dodrio over in here, and you have the rest of your team sort of in this area, right? So if the enemy team ever decides to aggress onto this backline area, you can retreat out this direction and then have this guy fill in this space, this guy fill in this space, or go this direction, depending on what he needs, right? You have a bunch of different options about how your team composition can function and be versatile. Give me a second to erase some of this stuff. I wanna redraw some of these circles. Still on the eraser. Alright, so when you have that, you have a lot of different options. On the other side for red, how it should look is, or Shifu should be back here. Umbreon should be back here. The backline should be over in this area. And the idea is that if anyone aggresses, right, if anyone from blue side aggresses onto you in this direction or in this direction, you can easily get back to the backline, right? You can easily retreat this way. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted red. You can either retreat this way or hold here, right? You don't want to have to aggress, given how the members of this team comp have been playing and how Inteleon seems to like to play. That said, these two are just fucking sprinting it. Like, the team composition in terms of how they want to team fight makes zero sense to me, right? And the reason that I also say this, right, is because if you think about how I said the ideal team fights for both teams should be set up, right? You want to have a bunch of members here, you want one here, one here. Let's undo this circle because it's really fucking, all of these circles are fucking ass, let's be real. Right, and then you want one here, a big circle, I don't want that, I want a smaller circle, right? And then you want the rest of your team in this area. Again, when you think about the way that I said the team composition should be played ideally, right? The ideal is that he is going to try to execute on this backline, and he will try to execute on the backline here. And as they do that, there is someone right here to stop them, right? To say no. So that this doesn't happen. And in the other side, right, the ideal team composition is you can slowly work these guys forward, right? You want to slowly aggress onto this space, force these guys backwards out of this space, and then once you've done that, you can hold somebody here, like you have been. They can't get into this team fight. They can't get onto the Reggie Ice, right? Instead, we just have massive gaping holes to the fucking backline. Like, I am relating this game to Wild Rift because that's like the native game, but like even then, like just thinking about how team fights should be played, this hurts me, right? That is just not okay. And you can see, right? Once the backline collapses, right? The red side here tries to like trade out. Oh. The red side tries to trade out by aggressing into this space. But because blue side did what the fuck I said, which was correct, right? They hold on to this space, they back up, and then from there they can aggress into this space, or they can retreat into this space and like make it so that there is no way for 1, this guy to get killed, 2, this guy to get killed, and 3, this guy to get killed. Right, because you have the Lapras there, the Dodrio there, he can knock people away this direction. Dodrio makes it really hard to try to walk into here. And that means that this team fight is over because red side has zero fucking clue how to play the team fights. This is unhinged, man. This is just like a breakdown in teamfight etiquette. Like this is just so infuriating to watch because you can see they have a good team composition, and then look at your front to back. It just dissolves. There is no front line here, right? The goal is for these two members to be the front line, but right here, tell me who's in the front line. You've got your 2 squishiest members and then your tank, and nobody's ever gonna hit the tank. You just ignore the tank. Right, you just walk past him. And again, your squishiest member, your ADC, or your carry, right? Your damage carry, aggresses way too far forward, takes a lot of damage, right? Dodrio bails them out, and then they have to retreat. It just, right now it's a 3v4, but they're all low on health bars, and she's just coming back. So what you should do is you should either just, right? You need to pull off here because you can see the Lapras pulls off, or you need to just straight up aggress into them. But they don't make a decision. They make 2 decisions instead of making 1 decision. Like it's unhinged. And like if red side was there a little earlier, I think they can punish that better. But yeah. I hate watching team fights in this game because nobody can act. Like, it's not that hard to execute, man. Instead, it just dissolves into chaos 90% of the time. And nobody's willing to just... Like, the biggest issue with team fights is that nobody is willing to just take a fucking step back and hard reset. Like... Give me a second as I find the exact frame I'm looking for. Nope. So like right here, right? You've executed on what your team composition wants to do. Zacian gets out. But look at this. You can just, right? They are still dead. It's going to take them a few seconds to get out of base. You can pause, right? You can pause and let the team fight reset here. Because health bar, 1 health bar low, 2 health bars low, about half. Versus 1 at half, 1 at half, and everybody else is fine, right? You are 100% okay to just full reset here and regain your front to back, right? Right? Just have this guy pause, have him just kind of walk up to like right here, and then just start aggressing forward. That is totally fine to take it slow, but like there's just no one is ever willing to do that because they see the Umbreon, he goes for it, and then immediately, no, I need the kill, and then suddenly everything dissolves into a mess of chaos, and it's just, hey, who has hands on the day? Which is like, I guess, just trade upwards. don't know. Unhinged. And I thought this one was going to be a quick one. No, I get through the first analysis in about 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, cool. This is going to be an easy one. I can record another video, and boom, here we are. And even that, I didn't even record the first one, which is yikes. Should have. Okay, so they're just gonna reset to neutral here. Probably just try to knock down these goals. Attempt to stop it. Not bad so far. But yeah, this is the number one thing I hate about attempts to stop like this. This is like if your tower's at like 100 HP. Like, it feels like even if you do trade upwards, it's not really that great. So Urshifu shows. They're gonna see Blissey too. Yeah, once they see he's solo, they're just gonna straight up fight it, and then good secure. Yeah, I got nothing else to say about this game. Like, I can keep ranting about how these team fights look awful. Like, I understand the idea of wanting to have your main carry at this point, try to solo it, but like, why is Dodrio right there? And then why does, like, Ninetales does the right thing here, which is just secure it. Why do they continue walking like past this brush at all? Because you can see they just continually walk up past this brush even when their team is retreating. That said, at least Blue is making good use of the Dodrio to like try to get picks. This game is even more infuriating to watch than Wild Rift, man. At least in Wild Rift, I can have the Chinese teams do cool shit all day. Even though NA is bad at the game. I also like that team compositions in this game devolve into literally like 2 fighters, ranged carry, healer, and tank every time. Like, there's 0 variety most of the time. I feel like draft in this game is also just turbo fucked. Because you can just continue, like the charts I made, if you were here in the stream, I made a chart previously that shows where you, I don't know if I think I did in this game as well, but I made the chart that shows like whether you can, you know, the like what skews are good versus if you ban versus if you don't. Like, draft is so simple in this game, it's fucking ridiculous. Because skews are wild, they don't matter. 13 seconds to Rayquaza. No time to do a Lecky at the top, although I imagine Blue would like to try to do it to create pressure. Same for Red, but a lot of pressure already here. They do get to stop. I mean, they're going to need to start hitting it eventually, but at least they're focusing on the team fight. Yeah, look at the Goudreau just unable to do anything. That said, the front line just fucking, like, what the fuck is going on here, man? Like, look at the split. Like, you've got these two on the back line right here, and then the rest of the team is sandwiched in between them. Like, because, like, also fucking JP observing Lamau. You just don't even get to see what happens here on the bot side. Urshifu gets it, and it was a 1-for-1 with Umbreon dying a little earlier, so I think this is probably Reds as long as they don't lose the game here. Yeah. Yeah, and they're just going to score double 100 and the game is over. I mean, good setup by Red in terms of objective. Like, you can see that. So, like, there's what, 10 seconds? You can see that because I like Blue setup here a lot better because they got one here. Where's their fifth? I think he's here. Not sure. But I like this setup because they sort of have the wall. It means nobody's going to be trying to aggress here. Because what happens is he goes down this direction, and then he's going to get pulled back up here. And that allows Urshifu to get there and start it up and do a lot of damage. I think, unironically, they probably should have just given up the 40 points. I don't know if they had exact calcs, because they might be, like, if they're looking at 110 to 150, like, for the calcs that they have, they're probably looking at it like this is going to be a big deal if they don't get the Rayquaza and aren't able to score. Because, like, I think it's probably safe. Like, obviously knowing this, it's a lot easier to speak about, oh yeah, score. But I think that it's a lot safer to give it up and then try to fight for the objective here. It's like, yeah, you can see there, he's immediately going for it. And then as he has to respond, he's going to engage the team fight here. Yeah, it's really annoying not to see what happens down in this side of the map, because the Umbreon just dies. Like, it looks like they just sprinted again. Because it looks like the Dodrio just kills them down there, and you just don't even get to see it. That's fucking insane that it's basically like a 10-second longer cooldown for a 50-point lead, 80-point lead. But yeah, just the secure means the game is over. And, like, that's the reason that I think you want to force them off of it earlier. Like, I do like that they you know, sort of made the wall here, but at the same time it cedes control over a lot of that area. Like, it allows them to get in there, and then once they get in there, they can do the thing that they do, which is they push down this way, make a bunch of space there, and then by the Urshifu just being up here, he drags people out this way. So your line now looks more, like, instead of looking like that, it looks more like that. That's not fair. Instead of looking like this, right, where there's like an actual like solid wall, it looks more like this, where there's a lot of space over here and just like a lot of concave room, right? Especially around this pit. Anyways, that's a 2-0, so I'm fucking done. It's been about a 2-hour stream. For those of you that are interested, check out my Twitch, check out my Twitter as well. Yeah, that's all I got for you. Have a nice day, everybody.